your cell phones, and council turn on your mics. We'll start with roll call.
Mayor Schwentz.
Here.
Councilor Burrell.
Here.
Councilor Kincamer.
Here.
Councilor Lindstrom.
Here.
Councilor Spadman. Councilor Stroud has resigned. Councilor Tyree.
Here.
Okay. Approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any additions or revisions of the agenda tonight? If not, I'd look for a motion.
I move we approve the agenda for regular meeting on July 11th, 2022.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilor Lindstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor Burrell.
Yes.
Councilor Kincamer.
Yes.
Mayor Schwentz.
Yes. And then we have our approval of minutes. You've all had a chance to look over the minutes of our regular meeting for June 27th, 2022. Do you have any revisions or corrections?
Nope.
If not, I'd look for a motion to approve those.
I make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from June 27, 2022. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Lindstrom.
Yes.
Councilor Kincamer.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor Burrell.
Yes.
Mayor Schwentz.
Yes. Next we have visitors and delegations. Citizen comments. Citizens are invited to speak to council on any item that does not have a public hearing schedule. There's a 5-minute time limit per person unless otherwise noted by the mayor, and please use your time wisely as you only get one opportunity. It's the only chance in the meeting to address council unless otherwise invited. Please note that no formal action can be taken on an item that's not posted on the agenda due to an open meeting law provision. However, they may be placed on a future posted agenda if action is required. To better assist you with questions, please submit them in writing to the city clerk and someone from staff will respond. I think we have some forms on the table if anyone has anything. Do we have anyone for our citizen comment? No. Okay. Number 6, management. We have proclamation number 2022-9, designation of July as Parks and Recreation Month. We'll have Lance Schwentz present for us.
Each year, July is always set aside for celebration of Parks and Recreation Month. And during this week also, the City of Brush has always kicked off Parks and Rec Week, and we have several activities that are free to the community that we invite everybody else to show what we have to offer parks-wise and also recreational program-wise. And so it's just a good time for the community to get together and celebrate leisure and recreation. And after I read the proclamation, I'd like to go ahead and tell you about all the different things we have going on this week. So proclamation number 2022-9, designation of July and Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas Parks and Recreation are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the City of Brush, and whereas Parks and Recreation promote health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks, and whereas Parks and Recreation promote time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourage physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation are a leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition services, and education. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increase the community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation are fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community. And whereas Parks and Recreation are essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month, Whereas the City of Brush recognizes the benefits derived from Parks and Recreation resources, now therefore be it resolved that the Brush City Council formally declares July as Parks and Recreation Month in the City of Brush, Colorado. Given under Mayor Sherman's hand, the seal of the City of Brush this day, the 11th day of July 2022.
Thank you, Lance.
So,
I would look for a motion for this proclamation.
I move that we approve proclamation number 2022-9, designation of July as Parks and Recreation Month.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Garrell,
Yes.
Counselor King-Cameron,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes.
well, thank you very much. And like I said, this Parks and Rec week this week, it actually kicked off this morning. We had a 3-on-3 basketball tournament plus wiffle ball tournament over at our Sunset baseball field. Tonight, we are going to be showing the movie Goonies in the swimming pool, so people can go out there, take their floaties, and watch a movie in the pool. And also out at our golf course, it was a free golf day, so people could have went out and played golf for free today throughout the day. Tomorrow will be our free swim day over at the swimming pool from 1 to 5:15. No charge there, and all the lifeguards and our pool manager will have various games and stuff throughout the day with that. On Wednesday in the morning, we have our community breakfast. It's from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. 8:30 a.m. over at the JC building. So we will be cooking pancakes, eggs, and sausage and everything for anybody who'd like to come. Good chance to kind of meet the neighbors and everything else and see our facility over there at the JC building. And then afterwards, that night at 6 p.m., we have a cornhole tournament that will be held at Pettis Park Tennis Courts that we've been doing for the last several years, and that's actually been a pretty big attraction. And then Thursday is probably our funnest day of the year to all the kids. We have our mud volleyball that will be taking place over at Prairie Trails Park, horseshoes at VFW Memorial Park, and then we do have a band coming in to play Thursday night, and that'll be right there at Prairie Trails Park that overlooks the pond, that little stage area that we had built a few years back. Friday, we have another movie night at Sunset Baseball Field. It'll be baseball themed. The title of that will come out soon. And then on Saturday, we have the 12th annual disc golf tournament at Watrous Park, and sign up for that is $20 per person. We also have an 18-team girls fast pitch tournament that'll be going on that day, and we have the Prairie Cup golf tournament going on that day. So a lot of stuff going on this week. And top of all that, we still have our adult softball, youth baseball, and everything going on each night. So very busy in Parks and Recreation, and so we look to see everybody out there and try to enjoy what you can. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lance.
Thanks, Lance.
Is there a fee for the movie at the pool tonight?
There's no fees.
Okay.
Yep, everything except for the disc golf. There's no fees for any of it except for disc golf.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
How's it usually go over? Is it pretty packed?
What's that?
The movie and the pool, is it usually pretty busy?
It is, unless the wind's blowing or we get lightning. So, that's been about a 50-50 proposition whenever we've had something scheduled like that.
Right.
But I'm holding out hope that tonight's going to be pretty nice.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Lance.
Yeah.
All right. Finance.
Oops, that's me. I move we approve disbursements and payroll for June 28th, 2022, totaling $606,883.45.
Second.
Jinx. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor King-Cameron,
Yes.
Counselor Lundstrom,
Yep.
Counselor Garrell, Yes. Mayor Sherman.
Yes. Now we have staff reports. We'll start with Tyler Purvis, Director of Community Development.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. Just one announcement tonight. It's more broader for just the city in general, our employment. We never like to see vacancies, because if there's no vacancies, that means everybody is employed, all of our positions are filled. But there are 4 to 5 vacancies listed right now on our website. This is not so much for City Council, but an announcement for the general public. The last few weeks, I've actually ran into a few people in the community who are looking for work, and they had no idea that the city had jobs that they could apply for. And so just putting that out to the community. We have a couple positions at the community development that I'm a little biased on wanting to fill. So if anyone is interested or knows someone who's looking for work, recently David Basil, our building inspector, had a great opportunity with Buildings by Design, and so that's a good opportunity for potential career path for someone who might be interested in construction or has construction experience and can serve that role well. So if they're interested, go to our website, brushcolo.com, look under employment, and there it will be.
Are you the guy now? Are you doing it while he's gone, or?
So Dale and Patrick and myself are covering all the bases, which I really appreciate them. They both have a lot of expertise on that whole industry, so we're a team. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. Next we have Lance Schwentz, Director of Community Services.
Just one quick thing. After our city council meeting and we decided to go the direction of looking at Prairie Trails Park, I did meet with Dr. Wilson to kind of give him an update on that. Told him that we still would like to work with him as far as the middle school property and what we can do to enhance that. But as far as the GoCo route, right now we're going to be focusing our attention on Prairie Trails. We did have a discussion about golf course scheduling and some different things with our golf course and stuff that the school district and the city share. And so, and I did assure him that every other week or so that we would still meet and keep in contact so that we can still keep that project moving forward too and see how we can help one another out in that matter. So
Awesome.
that's where we're at there.
Thanks,
Okay.
Lance.
Thank you, Lance.
Did he say what he wanted to do with the middle school yet? Have they decided? Or
What's
no?
that?
Have they decided what they're gonna do with the middle school? or
You
still-
know, that was,
still figuring
when
it
I
out?
told him, he was just kind of like, go to plan 2 and stuff like that. So we haven't discussed anything further than that.
Thanks, Lance.
Next we have Joanne Gosling, Finance Director.
Just have 2 quick items this evening. We do have a new accounts payable person. Her name is Crystal Moody, and her first day was today. The other item is that the auditors were here the end of June, scheduled for 4 days, done in about 2.5 days. So that made me happy. And within the next 2 months, either July or August probably, Scott Zalba will come in and he'll meet with council. We can either do it with finance or everybody can come to the finance committee meeting and he'll meet and go over the 2021 audit, excuse me.
Very good. Thank you, John. Loranda Packard, City Clerk.
Just 2 things for me too. First of all, the city county meeting tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at the course, and then tonight's meeting, we're recording, I believe, sound only. We don't have cameras, so I just wanted to make that announcement. That's all.
Thank you. We have Dan Cobb on the phone. Are you there, Dan? Our city attorney?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have anything for us?
I don't have anything to report tonight, but as always, council, if you have any questions, I think you all have my cell phone number. Feel free to call me at any point, and if you don't have it, Loranda or Monty can give it to you.
I got you on speed dial 1. Does anybody have anything for Dan? No. Okay. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Monty Torres, City Administrator.
Okay, a few items for this evening. The first one that I was gonna mention, just following up on Joanne's report. Another thing that Joanne and I have talked about recently is, we are busier and busier, more busy than we've been in a long, long time or ever. So we have had some initial discussions about maybe an additional person at the front desk to help with accounts payable, accounts receivable, plus a handful of other projects that we've never gotten around to. So it's a new position, so typically before we hire for a new position, we come in and talk to council about it. But we're gonna fine tune that a little bit and look at a job description before we come back to the city council with that request. Dale Colrick is not here this evening, but I just wanted to point out that our street projects for this summer, they've kicked off. The main project is on Hospital Road and Mill Street, so if you're out there, you'll see that they have roto-milled up all the asphalt, or most of the asphalt. They take off 2 to 3 inches of the asphalt, and then what they do is they make sure there's no soft spots, and then they go in with a little over 2.5 inches of asphalt, put it back down and compact it. And so Hospital Road is almost complete. They need to let that cool overnight so that it's cured and ready for tomorrow. And then they're gonna start sometime tomorrow on Mill Street. Mill Street's a little bit longer section, so it's probably gonna take a little bit longer. But the work that I've seen them doing so far looks really good, and Dell Colrick is pleased with it. Once those projects are done, Dell also has Samples Avenue. There's one block there, the 300 block, that is on our list this year as well. So we're excited because this is the most asphalt work we've done in a long, long time. It's quite a bit collectively with all the projects, a little over $1 million worth of street improvements that we're gonna see.
Molly, can I ask you a quick question
Yep.
about that? I know that we ran into some issues after the western side of Mill was repaved with paint. Are we gonna see that same issue with these two segments?
When it was repaved with,
There was issue with paint and
oh,
getting,
so part of the package deal with the Martin Marietta is after they're all done with this, then we're going, it's a painting job as well. So
Okay.
they should do the curb head, the center lines, and then at the school district, those crossings, I think it's the thermoplastic, where they put it down, they heat it up, and so that way it lasts longer.
so we'll see the improved crossings for the school then as well?
Correct.
Okay.
What's important about that is this is one of the city council priorities. City council want to put more emphasis towards streets, and so what we've been doing is saving up money. And so we've saved for a few years now, and so now we're starting to use some of that money, but we're anticipating 3 to 5 years of heavy street improvement projects. And we're not only, we're trying to spread around town as well. So we'll see some work being done on the south side, an alleyway in the downtown area. Those are some other things that we're gonna be working on this year. So just letting you know that there is an inconvenience because when you do those streets, you really do have to close them down. And so you try the best you can to educate the community in regards to where to go. But sometimes the word gets out, sometimes it doesn't, but we're pretty excited to see some of this happen. Another thing that I've talked to Dell about is Cambridge Street. We've been crossing our finger for rain, so now we got rain a few days ago, and we did have some flooding on Cambridge Street. And just for some of the council members that haven't been here too many years, probably about 10 years ago, we did what was called a stormwater master plan. And what that was is we brought in an engineering firm to look all over our community, look at where all the flooding was happening in the streets. And that master plan, we've probably taken care of about 80% of the problems. We made some improvements on Cambridge Street, Harvard Street, Applewood. Those improvements were improving the grates, so there were bigger grates, bigger openings to help the water flow better. But we did have some flooding down there, and that evening I went out and saw the water. The next day we looked at the high water marks, and all you had to do was go down there and look at the yards and see where the leaves were, because there's a bunch of leaves out there. And Dell and I the next day had a discussion, and we're going to take out that stormwater master plan, look at those recommendations. And he might have already done it, but with our consulting engineer, Western Engineering, we're gonna probably get some design work on how to improve that better. And I think the only way to do it is really put a big pipeline right down the center of that street, so it's gonna be pretty pricey. But stormwater fund, we've been saving up money there as well. And that water will have to go to the north, I think the only place we can go is that property that we purchased a few years ago, out to the east of the golf course. So that'd be a new stormwater pond, but we need it for the neighborhoods, the golf course, also from the parking lot, the water coming off of there. That's part of the problem that we have. It's overwhelming the main. So that work's gonna probably take place over the next few months, and it'll probably be a project that we have in our priorities for the city council and our capital improvement section of our budget for next year. Brush School District, in regards to the traffic study, we did get contacted by the school board president, and he asked if we could move our meetings to after the 20th of July, and that was in order for wheat harvest to be mostly done, so that would free up those who were gonna be tied up with wheat harvest for the next few weeks. Next item, there's a property on 7 Circle Drive. 7 Circle Drive, that property, it was a house fire a few years ago. That house fire, usually we can take care of those pretty quickly, or the property owners can, but in this situation, the property owner is deceased, and so we were waiting for probate to take its course and find out who the next owner is. But it's already been a couple years, and we have neighbors out there who want to see it cleaned up. And some of those neighbor houses were even damaged by the fire. So I talked to Dan Krob, who's online tonight, and our city attorney, and we are going to start the process of public notices and try and get that resolved. And I just received today some other points of contact, so we're going to reach out to those and see if there's any way we can get resolution to it very quickly versus going through our process of public notices, which takes a lot of time, and that's the last thing we want to do is let it ride for any longer. So be aware of that. Also, I've had some recent calls about other dilapidated buildings around town and junk in yards, and that person that contacted me, we're going to be meeting next week. And then we also have another concern about feral cats in the city, and is there anything that we can do with those? And that person's going to come in and visit next week when they get back in town, talk about their thoughts. And all the rest of my discussion is in the work session.
Is the feral cat thing, the lady that called me, who wants to
I think
trap
it's a
them and
different
clean 'em up?
person,
Oh.
different person, different
Did
situation.
Pam not want to do it?
We'll have to get with Chief Boss on that one. I know that he has discussions, but there's also a situation where there were some tickets that had been issued.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe he was letting those get cleared up in municipal court before we dove into anything else.
Okay.
Thank you. Mayor and council reports. Any councilors with anything to report?
I think I'll just start off with something positive. Hopefully we can stay on that path. I just wanted to say thank you to the Brush Chamber for a great parade. Although we have some concerns coming out of it, which we're going to discuss, overall I think it was a really great parade and it was fun to be a part of. And then to thank our fire department for putting on another amazing fireworks show, and taking care of that every year like they do, and staying late and getting up early and making sure things are cleaned up. So just thank you. And to the many law enforcement from all over the county that helped make sure those events happened. So just a thank you.
Very good. I spent the last part of last week, a couple days in Greeley at the CML Executive Board Retreat. It was a great experience. There's 20 other people from around the state that I got to sit and learn from, and made aware of some training opportunities I'd like to bring here for us. And so overall it was a great experience, and I'm excited about being part of that board and learning from those people. So that's all I have. If we don't have anything else, I will adjourn the meeting so we can move right into our work session. I think this is the shortest meeting since I've become mayor.
Just happy birthday, Mayor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we'll move right into our work session.